What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus Two Shots Dominguez, and with me tonight, it's Chris, the Stats Man Gorman. Hit him with the stats, Chris.
It's almost common, I feel like, at this point, but guys, like Tyrese Halliburton's 13 of 15 from go-ahead field goals this season, which it doesn't make any sense. He's missed two shots. It's just unbelievable.
He's clutcher than clutch, and this guy's two Modelo's deep. Is the Lamar Story McCroskey? Get that, Joe?
2 + 1.
2 + 1. Oh, a few. I should have said a few.
Trace
Modelo's in. It's going to be a fun pod tonight. We're talking NBA Finals. We've got game 1 and 2 in the books. Surprise, at least from my prediction there. We're 1-1 going into game 3. Both Joey and Chris were a little bit more positive on the Pacers. I forget you guys' actual picks. But yes.
I had Indy in 7.
I winning in
Indy in 7, yeah.
And I got
him. What's wild is when we were doing that, self admission here, when we were doing the predictions, I wrote on the paper Indy in 6. And then when it came time to announce it, I couldn't bring myself to say Indy in 6. I went Indy in 7. After game 1, I almost took a picture and sent it to you guys and said, look, I wrote down Indy in 6. I was like, no. Let's wait for game 2. Don't want to look stupid. And I'm glad I didn't send it.
Yeah.
Well, I did it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Game 2 did look, it looked interesting early and then kind of got away from them. But game 1 was probably the talking point of the weekend here, of the week. Just a phenomenal comeback. They didn't lead the game until they led the game, the entire game until 0.3 left.
It's wild.
It's their first and only lead of the game, and they won. I couldn't believe it. Chris, what was your reaction on game 1? I mean, I was kind of feeling like I wasn't sure they were going to ever really get into it. I thought they were just going to kind of make it a little interesting, and then all of a sudden that happens. But were you in the same boat? Were you thinking something different?
I was. Game 1 was kind of trending exactly as you would expect, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, okay, Thunder's turning the ball over. The only question was, like, you would think, like, they're killing this team, and then they're up by, like, 12.
Yeah.
Right? And 7, and it's just like, oh, they're not really putting this away. Like, this is, and you're just thinking in the back of your head, like, could this really happen again? And then it does. And then game 2 felt like
you were waiting for it.
You were. And but it started competitive in the beginning of that one.
Yeah.
And then the second quarter just kind of opened my okay. And then they never let it go. Did it get within 15 in the second half? It didn't feel like it.
I don't know if it did or not. But yeah, it was weird. I almost texted you guys in the middle of the first quarter. I think Indy might be able to win this series. But I was like, it's first quarter, let's wait. And then, obviously the Thunder rolled there for a minute. But Joey, your reaction to game 1, obviously just the heroics down the end, but how did you feel about that one, watching it? What was the vibe?
Yeah, I thought it was done and over with. The 24 turnovers from Indiana seemed like an absolute death sentence. And as well they should have been. It's weird to say that your dead ball turnovers were somehow a positive in that. Like, you had enough so bad turnovers that you were able to get back on defense and set up a defensive strategy, which is just the interesting thing to say. But if you would have said, hey, Halliburton's going to score 14 points total, you think the Pacers win? You would say, no, there's no way they're going to win that game. Good thing was, though, obviously Chet only had 6 points in that game. So he was ineffective, I guess, on the offensive end, 2 of 9 from the field. Jalen Williams didn't have a great game. And it took all the heroics they could possibly muster to take a lead with 0.3 seconds left, which is just, it's wild. I saw a stat that I think they showed it on ESPN after ABC that Halliburton has like the third most playoff, go ahead or tying shots, under a certain time limit in the game. He has 5. LeBron has 8, and then there was somebody else in front of him. But Halliburton has 5, and 4 of them have come this postseason, which is just ridiculous.
It's an all-time run. I tell you guys, I kept a lot like Chris. Like, I kept feeling like in game 1, I'm like, all right, I don't understand how it is only 9 or 10 or whatever it was at the time, because it looked like OKC was just all over those guys, defensively getting all those turnovers like you were saying. But I kept waiting for OKC's run. I was like, okay, when's this gonna run? Gonna blow it up to 20, and then that should be night, and I could go to bed. And it just never came. And then in the fourth, it was a lot. It was that weird of like, even watching it back later, I couldn't believe that they actually won that game. The dominoes fell in just the right way. And then I loved the no timeout call when Halliburton got it and was dribbling down. And when Breen says no timeout, I was like, oh man, he's hitting this. There's no denying it. He's hitting it right here, and he did. And oh man, I was awake. I stayed up another hour watching post game.
The Pacers seem best under chaos.
Yeah,
seems when they kind of thrive. It's when things are not as they should be.
And like you guys said in the preview pod, it was a close game, and it favored Indy. In game 2,
I said if there's 7 close games, Pacers can win 4 of them, right? So far, there's been 1 close game. So I don't know how the math really shakes out with that, but
yeah. So what do you guys think? We can go into our kind of next topic here, but what do you think Indy needs to do to sort of stay competitive and maybe potentially get game 3 here? Obviously, going into game 3 in Indiana, a huge chance for them to sort of regain the momentum again. Joey, what do you think is sort of their main thing they should be focusing on and looking into for game 3 and 4?
Indy needs to figure out how to get Oklahoma City's 3-man center lineup or 3-man post play out of the paint and let Halliburton get into the paint and cause some havoc.
Okay.
Every time he gets in there, he's getting met by 3 guys, and he's not able to make the right decision to get out. And in kind of game 1 in the second half, when they started to get going, it was just, I don't want to call it chaos ball, but they had a lot of movement, a lot of free flow, and everything was kind of working the way it should, and they were hitting their shots. So Halliburton's got to get in the paint. He's got to have the ability to either, do his little floater, which he's been pretty successful with, or find a way to make the right pass out and have his guys hit 3-point shots. Obviously, game 2, Obi Toppin was 1 for 5 from 3. Nemhard 1 for 4. Siakam 1 for 4. Like game 1, those guys were hitting those shots, right? If Miles Turner and Obi Toppin are jacking up threes and they're not hitting them, Oklahoma City is going to continue to live with that until they cruise to a very easy victory. So I want to see some more movement, allowing Halliburton to get in the paint and not have to go into 3 players all at once, kind of find a way to pull some of those big men out. And they're just gonna have to make those 3-point shots like that. That's the only way they got back in game 1. They're not going to win, going, 2-point shot for 2-point shot, because as we've seen from Shea, and we've talked for 10 minutes already, I haven't even mentioned SGA yet, right? He's got 34 in game 2 and 38 in game 1.
Yeah.
So you can pencil him in, you can pen him in for 30 plus automatically. So you're gonna have to find a way to counter that. So Indy's gonna have to find a way to pull guys out and hit shots.
Chris, anything else Indy should do, or you want to maybe point out what OKC needs to keep doing?
Okay, so the battle between these 2 games so far, there's 2 things that are kind of silly, but they stick out. Pacers had Toppin go 5 of 8 from 3, and then the Thunder had Aaron Wiggins go 5 of 8 from 3. So maybe you just have a bench guy go 5 of 8 from 3, win the game. The point of that is more like good 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
We'll do it. The other thing I want to point out was O-board percentage. So the number of available rebounds a player can grab that were on the floor. Indiana in game 1 had a 31% O-board, so they covered a third of their misses. OKC was at 18.9. Game 2, 28 for OKC, and then only 18% for Indy. So grab those O-boards. If you're going to be in the paint, if you don't want to listen to Joey's advice, stay in the paint. At least grab the O-board. If there's a miss, don't let them. You can't lose both of those. You can't lose. If you have the size, you don't have as much range. Maybe you got to get those O-boards. So simply, I don't know, as that for me. OKC, man, what does OKC need to do? What do you mean? Like,
yeah, right.
Maybe offensively, Chet can open up a little bit more.
As I say,
I think
it's
game
Chet,
2 he had some moments, but wasn't crazy. It's Caruso and Dort, dude. Just watching those two guys defensively has been unreal. I don't understand the case on Wallace starting thing. I don't know if that's gonna.
Yeah, will that continue?
He had a good plus minus overall in the game, but I just when he was out there, it didn't feel. Maybe he knows better than I know that one. So maybe just keep doing whatever the hell you want. But I don't know. I just think this might be over, and we'll get to it. What I think.
Yeah,
but it was cool to at least see a nice game one. I hope I see more of that.
Yeah, I think obviously going into India, it should be a different environment. I think you guys kind of hit on the two main points. It's just that possession battle, whether it's the turnovers from game 1 or the O boards from game 2. Indy's got to create some more possessions for themselves because OKC is gonna be just tough defensively on so many of their possessions. They're gonna make it hard to score. Anytime you can get an easy one around the rim, just kind of cleaning something up, or just one more crack at an open three, that could be the difference between a tight game that comes down to the wire that Halliburton can make some magic in, and a game that you're down 15 going to the final 2 or 3 minutes. So that's a big deal. They went 14 for 40 from 3 in game 2. So you can't have that kind of shooting performance. You got to get a little bit better than that. So,
and Pascal's got to be better. Just toss that in there.
Yeah,
3 of 11 in game 2 is not gonna get it done. Like,
no,
he's got 15 points, but 8 of those points came from the free throw line.
Dude, none of the numbers for either Pacers game looked that like. I agreed with your what was he 3 of 11?
Yeah, game 1. You look at that game 1 box score, and you're like, how did they win this game?
Right. They even said like we didn't play well and we won.
Well, yeah, Chet got 6 points. That's the difference, right?
Yeah,
you saw Chet's full range in game 2. There was one sequence where he had, he was out guarding a 3-point shooter. Pass went into the paint. He faded back, got a block, went down the court, hit a 3-pointer the next, possession. Like when you're getting that from him, it makes it a whole lot easier.
Jeez, it's a cheat code.
Yeah, but Siakam's got to make him work a lot harder. Can't go 3 of 11. That's not gonna get it done. As
you got to be
MVP.
You got to be doing something. He's definitely one of their big time guys, but who can be an X factor for Indy there? I think we got the OKC X factors. Kind of, we know who those guys are, but who can Indy rely on here to kind of make something happen and get a little momentum, Joey?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's my own question, and I don't know. I guess if you, I thought I had an easy answer for it. Now that I'm looking at it,
maybe it could be Toppin.
I was about to say, is it weirdly Obi Toppin?
I think it's Obi Toppin,
right? Scores 17 points, hits 5 3-pointers in game 1. They win the game, right? Changes the way that they have to play. Comes in game 2, makes 3 points, 1 of 5 from 3-point, 1 of 8 from the field total.
Yeah,
and if they don't have X factor,
they don't have an answer, right? They don't really have an answer for someone like Obi Toppin.
Yeah,
if
he's in their lineup,
he's game 1 Obi, they don't have an answer for him.
He was kind of the key to that smaller lineup in game 1 that, I think OKC kind of pre-adjusted and didn't use their 2 bigs. Everybody's been talking about since game 1. So I think he was unlocked there in game 1 and game 2. They were ready for him and a little bit different. Anybody else, Chris, you think could be an X factor there?
I don't know what this whole team has players that I'm like, how much more should I expect of this player?
Yeah.
Miles Turner, I'm kind of at this moment.
Yeah.
But I want like Andrew Nembhard, what he did in game 1 to on Shea to bring it to 105. He like hit that, he did a couple moves, step back. I'm just like, who's this? Like, where's this been? Who's this guy? And like game 2, he went 4 of 8. He just didn't do much. He had a game low minus 17. But like, can he actually be he needs to show up to be the second option. If Halbert, unless Tyrese is going to go for 30, which is that even smart to say? But like, he's got to score points. Like, no, he's got to.
Yeah,
the whole team's got to do something a little bit more. It's just weird to try to explain what. So I would love to see Nembhard kind of become even more of a player. Awful last name, but he's been balling out. Also, he's known Shea since they were like 9 years old. So I feel like there's something where like Shea's the MVP, one of the best players in the league, but Nebhard still looks at him as like, you know, a childhood friend, not like an MVP kind of guy. So I feel like,
he's like, you're my buddy.
You're my bro. Is it weird that they only lost by 16, but it feels like it was like 25?
I mean, kind of, because there was moments in that game where it got, I felt like it was going to get really out of hand, but they kept fighting.
And like Caruso had 20 points. He's shooting lights out. Aaron Wiggins had 18 points. So like if you have those guys playing more at their norm, Indy's not that far off this game.
That's actually really funny.
Like that's what's the weird point is like Rick Carlisle said it. He basically was like, hey, you know, we're just gonna put SGA down for 30. Like that's it. Like we're accepting that fact that he's getting that. And there's nothing we can do about it, which is a stark admission, right? He's not even like trying to find it. We're gonna find a way to something. He's like, no, we're just gonna it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it's like if you can stop or limit the role players, because I mean, Dort had 3 points. He played much better game one. Obviously, it was impactful on the defensive side, but Jason Wallace had 4 points, and then their bench was Caruso and Aaron Wiggins. So if they don't get that, it's 38 points. Game. Like it's a much different game. I'm not saying Indy wins it, right? But like if you're Indy, is that something in the locker room? Carlisle saying, "Hey, if you could have shut down 2 of their role players who are not known for being offensive stalwarts, you guys are right in this game. You just didn't execute, or you didn't shoot the ball as well as you did game one. So don't hang your heads. You had a chance in this game."
Yeah, I feel like OKC's got so many of those guys that could be the X factor. Obviously, Caruso's kind of like number one amongst them, but I think you're right. Was it 2 close games per Joey?
Yeah, like,
was it actually
game 2 was actually a close game? According
to you look at his 16 points, it's like it felt like it should have been a lot.
It felt like it should have been more. Yeah, and I think you're right. And that's kind of the point of like they go 14 for 40, like I said, from 3. If they get a couple of those that touch paint, come back out, and they're better looks, and they get 2 or 3 of those to go down, and now you're talking about a 5 or 6 point game, and now we're looking going into Indy, going, hey, could they maybe make something happen here? So it did feel like a little bit of a reset on the series, though, since after game 1 was such a shock and a surprise. It did feel a little bit more like the tone was back. Okay, this is OKC we're looking for. So, interesting.
Yeah. Indy's got to find a way to slow down the runs of Oklahoma City. Those runs in the second quarter, were like 19-2, and then before that, I think it was like 16-2. They kind of came almost back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And if they could have hit, like you said, 2-3 shots in that sequence, stop the bleeding. But like it was like the floodgates open, and it was just onslaught from there.
Yeah. All right, boys. Now here we go to the meat and the potatoes here. Was this more of a 91 Bulls losing to the Lakers in game 1 and then 4 straight? The Sixers losing or beating the LA Lakers and losing 4 straight. Was this more of that, or is this something that Indy could build on, or is this a real 1-1 series going into Indiana? Joey, has your pick been updated? Have you thought anything changed your mind? What do you think?
I think Indy wins tomorrow night.
Okay.
I
like this.
I think they obviously caught Oklahoma City by surprise in game 1.
Yeah.
They weren't ready for the full 48. They thought after halftime they were kind of in control of that. And honestly, for 3 quarters, they were fully in control of that. And then it just kind of wheels came off. I don't even the wheels didn't come off. Indy's wheels were bolted down tight, and they decided they knew how to do basketball. I think if I was coaching them, I would have explained what I said about how close of a game this possibly was. Like, find a way to motivate them, make them feel like
that
it wasn't everything everybody was saying about this series. They're back at home. That city is going to be absolutely buzzing for them. I don't know if you guys saw, but they've renamed street names for every player on the Pacers, which is apparently a thing the city does when they have a big event. They've done it for like March Madness and stuff. But so there's a street for every player on the Pacers. Like, they are fully invested in this, and I feel like there's going to be some good mojo coming their way. You would assume they're going to shoot a little better back in their home arena. So I think they're going to come out. I think they're going to get this game. I'm thinking a la, what the Timberwolves did to them, maybe not as significantly, but I feel like there's just going to be this buzz and this aura about them that is just going to be too much to overcome. The weird part about that entire statement that I just made is that it has nothing to do with like them being a better basketball team. It's just like, this is one of those moments where the emotion in the home court kind of helps you and gets it. So I think they go up 2-1. I think after that, Oklahoma City kind of locks it down. I think it probably goes OKC in 6.
Mm-hmm.
I do think Indy has a chance to get one more game, and I think it's probably tomorrow night, just based on the home court advantage.
Yeah, I actually think Game 3 is must win for Indy. If they want any again, it was must win Game 1. They did it. I think Game 3 is again must win for Indy. Chris, has your opinion changed? You had Indy in 6.
I had Indy. No. Joey had Indy in 6.
I had Indy in 7. It's official. That's what
official.
I had Thunder in 7 because I thought,
respect.
I mean, so far I've been happy with. I thought it'd be a closer series than in 5, and I was gonna say 6, but I'm like, no, it's gonna be 7 because Thunder will lose Game 6 on purpose. So. What that would make sense for them to lose tomorrow as well, just to maximize the number of home wins they could possibly get, right?
Yeah.
And I agree with Joey. I feel like that. I kind of more hope that happens because I feel like even though the Pacers won Game 1, I was like half paying attention.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest, for Game 1, and then all of a sudden you just see it's like, it's still only 10. So of course I watched the all possessions thing to kind of understand what the hell happened here, and still. Yeah, anyways. Still Thunder in 7. I did want to point out a comment that we had on one of our lesser reviewed videos where Joey talks about who's the better team in the clutch. Do Turtles have butt cheeks? Wrote, first game will be close. Pacers get the W.
Real basketball savant.
Oh, man.
It's just we lost Chris for a minute.
We might have lost Chris.
Thank you guys for commenting on our TikToks.
It was going great.
It's turtles have butt cheeks? Two turtles have butt cheeks commented. It's so question. Serious the way he was saying that.
I helped a snapping turtle cross the road on Sunday.
Oh man, Chris's snapping turtle?
No, it was a similar situation though. It was a very similar. Well, Chris is reading himself. A woman had pulled over on the side of the road. Everybody was stopping. She was out of her car. I rolled in the window and said, you need help? And she said, there's a turtle on the side of the road. And I said, okay. And then she reached on, try and pick it up. Snapping turtle tried to pick it from the side. I immediately shouted at her. So I, got out of the car and proceeded to help her with the turtle because I was like, you're going to get your finger snapped off. So I don't know. I saw the bottom side of the turtle. I don't know if it has butt cheeks.
He didn't.
All right. Well,
did not expect.
They predicted the 4 blowouts coming.
Okay.
So that's my gosh. I almost did it with a straight face, guys.
That was
the last part. That
beautiful.
Proud of you, Chris.
Well, did turtles have butt cheeks? Do turtles have butt cheeks? May have called it and what in an iconic box up voice moment. Oh God, I love this. I think my prediction, man. I still think it's going to be Thunder in 5. I don't know. I think Indy's got to do it in Game 3, and I think Joey's correct where it's just all vibes, man. It's like, do they have one more vibes game left in them?
Yeah.
I think if they don't, I think it would be very similar to the situation in Game 4 in Minnesota, where OKC was able to sort of weather that storm, win it, and then it was after that, it took the life out of Minnesota. I think that's a very similar situation that could happen in Game 3 if Indy plays out of their heads. They're hitting threes. Halliburton's having a monster game, and they just can't finish it. And OKC struggles through, and gets a win. I think then you'll see the rest of it happen. But
that's perfect.
Yeah.
I think if Indy loses a close game, because they haven't lost a close game, all playoffs, that they lose a close game, it's like, oh, that's our thing.
Yeah, that's our thing.
Like, wait a second. Yeah.
If
Hey,
they
that's
lose
our
their thing, yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
it's gonna be lights out.
But if they get them, I think. What do you think would be better, them winning a close game or them like having a blowout, a la Minnesota Game 3, where they can kind of? But I feel like if OKC kind of checks out and says, "We're fine, we'll get you next one," I feel like that's dangerous.
I feel like that's dangerous too, because every time OKC has lost a blowout, they've come back in a fury. Like they don't seem phased by that. They seem much more phased by losing a game that they know they should have won.
Yeah,
when they lose a game that they had no chance, and they're like, yeah, whatever, we'll be fine. But that close game feeling, I think, hurts.
I think you're right. I think that's what it needs to be. The recipe needs to be a tight one that Indy can kind of just
you get up big, let him back in.
Yeah. Well, there's just like one where Indy shows you like, hey, look, if we're close at all, we're going to get you guys. Because I think then, speaking of turtle butt cheeks, the cheeks might get tight for OKC if they start to if it happens twice. You know what I mean? If it happens twice, then you could see, all right, even if they lose game 3 or whatever, or I mean game 4, like if a game 5 and OKC's close and the crowd starts getting tight, does OKC start to have flashbacks and nightmares, and then does it change? So, interesting. One other little prediction here for you guys. Do you guys think either team will have the ability to close it out in game 5, a la they have a 3-1 lead?
Yes.
Yes.
OKC.
You think OKC?
Yeah.
No.
No. I'm with Chris. I don't think a team will be able to close it out. We'll see.
Okay.
I think.
So you think Indy's got one more in him?
Wait, but you think
more.
it's gonna be Thunder in 5?
I think so, but I just, as I was saying
saying
that, I realized what I was saying.
Okay.
I think so, but I also think I don't know, because I also think like if they go down 2-1, is game 4 going to be like just balls to the wall from Indy where they hold on? But I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
Indy hasn't played a good game really offensively yet, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they have a player with over 20 points in a game yet.
This series, no. You are correct.
Yeah, 19.
Ugh.
Like, come on,
Got
guys.
19.
The only guy actually is the only guy to score 20. Oh no, Caruso got 20 in game 2. I thought it was gonna be only Shea with over 20 points.
230s.
In game
That is kind of wild though that there have been 2 20-point scorers total.
Right. Oh man.
What a team-based series.
Bad for the league. Good for sickos.
We love it. Anything else tonight, guys?
Any predictions on I mean,
yeah.
I guess it's I was gonna say finals MVP, but obviously it's probably Shea, right?
Pascal Siakam. Oh,
no thought about Alex Caruso. He doesn't sneak in.
No way.
Andre Iguodala style
No, unfortunately, I don't think Caruso can get it from Shea. Shea's winning this thing unless Indy wins the series.
He joins the GOAT club then, right? As with Jordan. And Kareem as
MVP and Finals MVP in the same season.
MVP scoring title and Finals MVP.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and scoring title. Yeah, no, it's a rare air.
Yeah,
that feels so weird.
It does feel weird.
Did Shaq win one too? Did Shaq win one of those?
I don't think he
probably didn't have a scoring title, right?
Probably have a scoring title.
Probably have a scoring title.
Not in the same season.
Not the same year. Okay.
That is. I can't tell what Chris is laughing about.
Yeah, let's keep going.
It's just all right. Well, we can maybe table the coronation discussion about where these guys are after game 3 and 4. We'll see what let's see what they do. But
I mean, next Wednesday is our next scheduled pod, and it'll be either talking about somebody won it in 5, or we're talking about a game 6. Right, so that's kind of
perfect. So
good timing on us.
Yeah, it worked out well, and we are looking forward to the finals tomorrow. I know I'm gonna get a little excited. Might order a pizza or something. I don't know.
You know, nap in beforehand. 7:30.
Definitely get a nap in. 7:30, 7:50 start.
Why can't they start the game at 7:30?
ESPN's drive me nuts, man.
It's terrible. The broadcast has been horrible.
Horrible broadcast.
Yeah, how about the trophies on the court?
Oh God, it was such a joke.
They got rid of that, I think.
They switched it to the script after halftime because it was so corny looking.
Yeah, I saw that. What are you guys doing over there, man?
NBC is going to make it so much better.
Yes, they're going to bring back.
They're hearing all the
corn.
complaints. They're like, all right, we're
Yeah.
gonna put everything
Logos on the floor.
It's not
Check.
hard.
Inside the NBA, guys. Check.
Yeah.
I just don't know why they got rid of the painted trophy on the court. Was that too expensive?
I don't know. The fact that they make it more noticeable for an NBA Cup game,
yeah,
yes,
in season
that was
tournament
weird.
than for this is you don't have to go full painted court like that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that, but like
it's embarrassing.
If you're a random person flipping through the channels, you should be able to know that this is something different.
Yeah,
yes.
NBA finals.
Just should.
Well, it still should be a fun series. Hopefully, Indy, give us one more game, man. Give us one more miracle. All right. Well, that is it for us tonight. Follow us on social media at the Box Boss. Slide in the DMs. Be sure to leave us some of those delicious comments. Predictions are always good in the comments. And be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on YouTube and Spotify. We much appreciate that. So until next time,